Paying for gas is rough right now wherever you are, but we have some good news. All those gently used EVs flooding the market, they're cheap, and some of them are really good.
We're Edmunds, and we test hundreds of cars each year on the road and at our private track, so you get the most trusted reviews. If you want to know which car, truck, or SUV is the best, then stick with us.
The Audi e-Tron. This is an outstanding luxury vehicle that we criticized a little bit for its range per dollar ratio when it was new, but these days that math is very different. And also, for the rest of the video, that graphic means the average sale price of these cars when they were new, and the used price, which we'll show you later, is the average of all the cars listed for sale on our site right now. Even before you consider what these are going for on the used market, the e-Tron rules. There is outstanding comfort here. The e-Tron's got great seats, really terrific ride quality, and it's super quiet inside, especially if you get to the top trim level, which comes with acoustically laminated glass. The e-Tron even had wireless Apple CarPlay all the way back in 2019. Audi's newer cars have more screens and fewer buttons, so this feels like a sweet spot, modern but not overwhelming. Plus, the e-Tron is the right size. It's somewhere between the Q5 and the Q7, which on the road translates to a car that's big enough to feel substantial and have room for passengers and cargo without being a pain in the neck to park. This was Audi's first dedicated EV in North America, and in large part, they nailed it. It just feels like a normal car.
I thought the 2019 to 2023 e-Tron was such a steal that I actually convinced my dad to buy one. He had never really had like a proper luxury car, and we were able to find him a loaded low-mile e-Tron Prestige in the low $30,000 range, and that was like a few years ago too. It's way quieter and more comfortable than anything he's ever had, and the range is plenty considering any time they need to take a road trip, they can grab Mom's RAV4.
Nothing's perfect though. When it was new, we were disappointed that the e-Tron didn't have one-pedal drive mode like other EVs, where the car will use regenerative braking to slow itself down when you lift off the gas. Also, range here is just okay. The Audi outperformed its EPA estimate in the Edmunds EV range test, which I conducted, and the e-Tron does have pretty good thermal efficiency, so it doesn't lose too much range in the winter, but you'll still get plenty more range from a lot of the other cars on this list. But guys, e-Trons are super affordable at this point. You can get a $70,000 or $80,000 SUV for around 22 grand, and we even found some selling for less than that. That is a lot of car for the money. Now, we'll get back to the luxury stuff and other great EV steals in a minute, but if you're shopping for an affordable used EV, you're probably considering cars that were cheap when they were new, right? Like the Nissan Leaf, the Chevy Bolt, the Kia Niro, and maybe even the Hyundai Kona Electric. These are all fine cars for the most part, but here's the thing. On the used market, the price difference between one of those and a higher-end option with more range, faster charging, and better features can be just a few grand instead of the tens of thousands that separated these cars when they were new. In the context of used, heavily depreciated EVs, those cars just aren't a great value. And of course, if you want to see real listings for all of these cars, we've got tons on the site, plus tools to help you make sure you're getting a good deal. Okay, BMW. This is a company that consistently makes EVs that we recommend even at full price, and we know it full well from experience with our one-year road test fleet. We've lived with a couple of these cars and they're great. And now that they're a few years old, the car goodness per dollar ratio has gone way up. You could go for the i4, the smaller, sportier one that's surprisingly smooth and quiet on the road and has a shocking amount of cargo space. Range is decent too. Our only real complaint when this car was new was the cost, and now it's easy to find rear drive models for less than $30,000. And if you want serious performance, the 500 plus horsepower i4 M50 can be had for less than $40,000 all day long. We've got more BMWs to talk about, but whether you're buying gas or electric, check out bumper.com. With just a VIN or license plate number, learn about a car's history quick. Find out how many owners a used car has had, where it was registered, and more. To learn more, visit bumper.com/Edmunds. If luxury matters to you more than sportiness does, the BMW i5 is an exceptional luxury EV that takes comfort and quiet to an entirely different level. Beautiful interior on this thing, impressive range. This is one of those cars we fell in love with after living with it for a year. It's an Edmunds top rated winner for a reason. These ones aren't cheap, figure between 40 and 60 grand depending on if you want a single motor rear-wheel drive model, dual motor all-wheel drive, or the near 600 horsepower M60. But the i5 is one of the best luxury cars you can buy pretty much at any price. The biggest steal here though is the iX. This is another Edmunds top rated winner and another former sweetheart from our one-year road test fleet. If you can get down with the polarizing looks, the iX has a world-class interior, plenty of space, and some of the best balance between ride quality and sporty handling in the business. And all of these BMWs have great driver assist too. Oh, and not only does the iX have the SUV form factor everyone wants, it's also cheaper than the other BMWs and has the most range of any car on this list according to the Edmunds EV range test. Seriously, I look at listings of these things to buy for myself like every 2 weeks, and one guy on staff actually pulled the trigger.
So I'm actually sitting in my own personal iX at the moment. So at first, when the iX came out and I saw the price and I saw the extra bold looking front end design, that gave me pause about the car. But other than that, I thought the rest of it was pretty amazing. The interior is gorgeous. It rides near perfectly, and the acceleration is more than enough than anyone will actually need or use on a daily basis. We did the Edmunds EV range test, and it completely crushed its EPA estimate at the time when cars were really kind of coming in right at or slightly above. It blew past it. I think at the time it was one of the most efficient SUVs in its class as well. You know, I went out and I found a certified pre-owned model with just 13,000 miles for almost half off. For how much I love this car, that deal was just too good to pass up.
The Cadillac Lyriq is an easy one to sleep on. This was GM's first electric SUV, and it's been around for a few years, but hear me out. 1, this is one of the best looking EVs on sale, and 2, at today's prices, it makes a great used EV. The Lyriq has the plush ride quality and the muted cabin you want from a luxury car. The materials and interior design are every bit as premium as you'd expect from something that's this good looking, and it's got Super Cruise. In a car like this, it's so nice to just put your hands in your lap for an hour while you waft along the highway. Plus, you can waft for a while because the Lyriq has good range even for today. I tested this one too. And unlike all of GM's other EVs, you actually get Apple CarPlay. That's huge. We'll be honest about some of the cons. The Lyriq doesn't have a sporty bolt in its body, which means performance is acceptable but hardly impressive. And the slow steering combined with super soft suspension can make it feel a little lethargic when you're going around a corner. But seriously, on the low end, you can pick up one of these that looks like this, I'll remind you, for less than the price of a mid-level brand new RAV4. It's a good time to buy an EV. For a few years now, when people ask me what EV to buy, my default answer has been the Edmunds top-rated winning Hyundai Ioniq 5, or its sedan sibling, the Ioniq 6. When we're talking used, it's still a really good option. Part of why is that these cars were so ahead of their time when it comes to charging speed and the efficiency with which they turn electricity into motion. That combination means when we're talking miles of range per minute, the Ioniq 6 is actually the fastest charging car we've ever tested. We've done charging tests on over 100 EVs, including brand new six-figure flagships. None of them can match the Ioniq 6, which added 100 miles of range in just 6.5 minutes. Plus, overall range is still really good, and Hyundai added Supercharger compatibility for these two and made it backwards compatible. That means if you buy an adapter for a couple $100, even a first-year Ioniq 5 or 6 can charge alongside Teslas. These cars are comfortable, smooth, easy to drive on the road, and there's tons of space inside both. The tech is also still easy to use, and it has a ton of modern features like a digital key and plug to charge. Also, they just look great. Yeah, cargo space is limited in both, and outward visibility isn't great. Plus, for an SUV, the Ioniq 5 doesn't have much in terms of ground clearance or towing capacity. But man, for around $25,000 on average, and even less for higher mileage cars, these are a bargain. Prices like that mean even our coworkers who get to drive new cars all of the time are still considering them.
About once a month or so, I find myself checking out used Ioniq 5s because it's really the total package. It's a vehicle that has really good range, the interior is great, the tech is very good, and there's enough cargo space without it being a ginormous SUV. So as more and more of these Ioniq 5s enter the used marketplace and prices drop, it becomes an even more compelling proposition.
Then there's the Tesla Model 3, probably the car you think of when you think EV. As much as we appreciate the updated version that came out in 2024, earlier builds can be kind of rough. But at this point, the value is more or less impossible to beat. Range is undeniable. It's almost impossible to find an EV with over 300 miles of range at this price point, and we recorded a crazy 345 miles when we did the Edmunds EV range test with a 2021 Model 3 long range. Plus, you get universal access to the Supercharger network, which in our experience is the most widely available and reliable charger setup in the game. You can also get Tesla's misleadingly named but kind of technologically miraculous full self-driving supervised if you get a Model 3 build after 2019. And even if you get an older one, you can have Tesla upgrade the computer and give you access. The powertrain is excellent, the trunk is huge, and the screen still feels modern. Plus, Tesla has barely changed the looks of this car since it debuted almost 10 years ago, so even older models look pretty new. And the Model 3 performance has consistently been the best performance per dollar value in the industry since it made its debut, and that's only more true now that these cars have plummeted in value. Now, if you've been in an older Tesla Model 3 Uber, you're going to be very familiar with what we are about to say. These cars don't hold up great. Compared to a new Model 3, they are noisy and stiff, the seats aren't great, and build quality issues were super common among early Model 3s, even when they were new. You don't have to exercise your imagination too much to think about what they're like now. Plus, almost every single control goes through the central touchscreen, which drives us nuts. And there's no Apple CarPlay or Android Auto because Tesla wants your sweet, sweet data all for itself. But even with all those caveats, we can't ignore the value here. We saw examples in the $15,000 range, and you can get a Model 3 performance for under 20 grand. That's unreal. And if you want a Tesla with a little more space, everything I just said about the old Model 3s applies to old Model Ys, it's just that the prices are going to be slightly different. But that's the list. If you have any questions, if you think there's anything we missed, or if there are videos you want us to make in the future, let us know in the comments. I promise you we read them. Also, if these videos are helpful to you and you want to help us out, hitting like and subscribe goes a long way. We've got more EVs, more comparisons, more track time, and more off-roaders coming soon. And don't forget to hit up our site for all your car buying, selling, and researching needs. We'll see you in the next one.